Hello, friends, and welcome to Dharma Talk Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and we're in the Dharma Talk Tuesday chair. I'm a little sniffly today, so excuse the sniffles. But I'm really excited about today's topic because we're talking about the survival chakras, which you may never have heard of before. So it's going to be really fun to explore this new topic, a new perspective on something that you may be hearing for the first time, or maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe you'll be able to chime in the comments with your own perspective. So as you're joining, thank you ahead of time for saying hi, saying your name, where you're tuning in from. And I would also love to know what you know about chakras, because we are talking about chakras today and we haven't talked about them in a while. So I would love to know just what you know about them, what your background is. Sniffles, excuse me. Around the topic of chakras and what you know them to be and what your experience is with them. So I want to say hi to June, Debbie, Andrea. So good to see you the other night. You were radiant. All right. You know, what I want to talk about today is, it's interesting. I'm coming across more and more people who are experiencing a breakdown in their health and in their body. It's like, whether it looks like cancer or whether it looks like, heaven forbid, you know, or whether it looks like a joint breakdown. Like I've had joint pain in the past, like joint breakdown, or like other stuff. Like I went to an event on Sunday where I got to see the incredible Mary Morrissey speak, and she talked about this sudden and debilitating body breakdown situation where she was young. She was like not even graduate. She hasn't even graduated high school, and her kidneys were failing and she had to go in for surgery. And oh my gosh, it was, or maybe she was like going into college, but she was young and she had to get like a kidney removed. And it's just crazy to think that someone that young could experience such a massive body breakdown. Or for example, even using my own sister as an example, she was 13 and was diagnosed with liver cancer, like a tumor the size of an orange on her liver at the age of 13. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like how does that stuff happen? My sister's doing fine, by the way, thank God. So, I had my own experience with this when I was in my early 20s. I was experiencing completely debilitating knee pain. In fact, I was pre-arthritic in my early 20s. And you look at someone who, 22 years old, like at the prime of her life, you don't expect someone like that to be pre-arthritic in her knee joints. Like that literally doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And yet I was. How does that happen? So if you know someone who is experiencing any kind of body breakdown that's like unexplainable, or they've tried everything and it's like a chronic situation and they want to figure out how to heal it in a way that is like holistic and energetic, this is the Dharma Talk Tuesday for them, because that's what we're diving into today. We're talking about the 3 survival chakras, okay? So I'm gonna talk about my own personal story for just a moment, and then we're gonna go into what these are and how what they mean for you. So like I said, I had this pre-arthritic knee condition when I was younger. I used to dance growing up. I was gonna dance professionally and then chose to kind of go more of like the intellectual route in college, but you know, I love dancing. It's a huge passion of mine. So I was doing a lot of dancing when I was younger, and when I was in my teenage years, I would this is so gross, but my kneecap would sublux, which means it would pop out and pop back in. It's so gross. But as a result, it caused a lot of tissue damage, and I went on to have a lot of challenges with my especially my right knee growing up. But here's the deal. My left knee started to hurt. It's like all of a sudden both knees started to hurt. Like, what's happening? And this was when I was in my early 20s. And at that time, I was living in New York City, and then I moved to Hong Kong. And the thing is, both those cities require a lot of walking. They're both cities that you navigate mostly by walking. And so like having a knee challenge when you live in a city like that is not ideal. I'll tell you that right now. Like, it actually got so bad that, you know, I'd want to go to my yoga class, which was just down the street, and it's like I couldn't even make it down the hill. Downhill was the worst. Or I wanted to go to the store. I just wanted to go to the store just a couple blocks away, and I couldn't make it. Like, I'd have to take a taxi or just not go or order in, and it just got ridiculous. It didn't make any sense. And how does something like that happen when it wasn't, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And so I want to talk about that today because I figured it out, and I want to share with you what I figured out. And what I figured out was that at that time in my life, I was operating out of a belief system of a lot of fear. So I was operating from of feeling like I needed to prove something. I was operating from a place of not enoughness, like feeling like not enough, feeling like the other shoe was going to drop, or feeling, when I was younger, I had this fear of getting in trouble. That was another fear that would come up. And so there were a lot of fears that were circulating around my system and around my body. And you digest fear and you internalize that belief system long enough, and it stops just happening up here and it starts happening down here and into your body. So the energy of fear is a lack of feeling safe and secure. The energy of fear is a lack of feeling safe and secure. And safety and security are energies associated with the root chakra. Hi, Chanel. Thank you for joining. It's good to see you here. Safety and security are energies associated with the root chakra. So the root chakra is like the lowermost chakra, the pelvic floor region, and all of that. I'm going to draw you a diagram here in just a moment so we can be more clear, be really, really clear on that. But just suffice it to say for now that the root chakra is in like the hip region, okay? So if your root chakra is out of alignment, that often manifests as issues in your hips, tightness in the muscles in that area. Like if you know yoga, pigeon pose can be kind of challenging because that area is really tight, that sort of thing. So what ended up happening was I learned that my knee pain actually had nothing to do with my knees and everything to do with a misalignment and a tightness in my hip area. So I started to focus on and work on my root chakra in my hip region, and guess what happened? My knee pain totally went away. What I learned later was that the root chakra is one of the 3 survival chakras. And what that means is that there are 3 chakras. We have 7 chakras in total in our energy system. Chakra is a Sanskrit word for wheel. Yes, Chanel says that's all me, knees and hips. Yes. So we have 7 chakras in total that are related to like the body. They are connected to organs and energy systems in the body. And I'll go more into that in a second. But what I'll say is that the 3 bottommost chakras are the survival chakras. So I'm just going to draw you a little picture here so I can explain what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to put this up here. Is that working? Hopefully that doesn't fall. That's totally asking for trouble. Okay, we're gonna put it there. All right. So hopefully you can see this. Okay, I drew a little diagram here. These are the 7 chakras. And the reason why they're in a little triangle like that is because the base represents the denser vibration, the longer wavelength, denser energy. And then the topmost is a shorter vibration or higher, like a higher frequency, higher vibration, a higher energy, okay? So these are the chakras. Now, the bottom 3 chakras, which is these 3, are your survival chakras. So we've got the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. Those are your survival chakras. Now it's interesting because if you look at the vibrational, you can actually correlate the chakras with a vibration. So testing has been done to associate our emotions with a vibration, like a specific number. The highest number on the vibrational scale is 1,000, and then the lowest is 20. Actually, the lowest is 0, but that's the vibration of bacteria. So we're gonna go with human vibrations, which is, I hope that's not backwards on the screen. Anyway, it's 1,020, okay? So where we cut off right here in the survival chakras is 200. And the energy, the emotion associated with that chakra, the 200 level, is actually courage. So at the very bottom, we've got shame. I'll write this down. We've got shame, and then we've got guilt, and then we've got anger, and then we've got courage. I'm a lefty, so my handwriting sucks. That's my excuse. Shame, guilt, anger, courage. Starting at 20, going up to 200. Above 200, when you start to get above 200, from here up, you're now not in survival anymore. Above 200, above the solar plexus chakra, you're able to start focusing out. You're able to be selfless. You're able to have your attention be outside of you instead of just on your basic needs getting met. So above the solar plexus, we've got the heart chakra, which is about giving and receiving energy. We've got the throat chakra, because you're so overflowing with love, you want to share it and give it away. You've got the third eye, which is the sort of like the pituitary gland. It's like right back here. It's like your ability to receive intuitive information. And then we've got the crown chakra, which is your connection to the collective consciousness. Okay? So hopefully you can see that. I'll click closer. Right. So those bottom three are the survival chakras, which means that if you are vibrating at these lower frequencies in the bottom three, then you're going to experience things in your life that are corresponding with those chakras. What I mean by that, for example, with me, in my case, I experienced knee pain because my hips, so on a physical level, my hips were out of alignment because I was stuffing so much fear energy, which was landing in my hips, because that's a fear vibration. It's a really low vibration, which corresponds with the root chakra. So that energy, that vibration, was landing in my hips. But here's the thing. The hips are a much bigger joint than the knees. So the hips aren't the things that feel the pain. It's actually the knees and the low back that are most affected by your hips having tightness, or like your connective tissue. It's like, imagine just, so you can see the triangle. It's like, this is a denser energy down here. So it gets very dense as opposed to spacious and expansive. So it gets very dense, it gets very tight, it gets very unmoving, and then that turns, it's like a leverage, a twist, and turns into leverage around your knee joint, which gets compromised. And that's where knee pain comes from. That's where my knee pain was coming from. As soon as I realized this, and as soon as I started working on aligning and opening these bottom three survival chakras, it started to move up into the heart chakra and into the throat chakra once the bottom three were aligned and taken care of. Guess what? The knee pain magically went away. Isn't that amazing how that works? The knee pain went away, the back pain went away, and I went through some back pain situations. The back pain went away, the knee pain went away, and things in my life started working. Like, they started working in terms of the relationship space. They started working in the business space. Like, that's around the time when I started my business, and that started to work really well. I found my tribe and my community. I found happiness, I found peace. And the thing that changed wasn't actually my external environment. What changed was my internal environment, my vibrational frequency that I was vibrating at. Okay, so I stopped vibrating down in the survival chakra region, and I started vibrating higher up. So getting into the heart chakra is obviously along the lines of connection, love, moving up into the higher vibration. I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but I started moving in that direction, right? So I started moving up. So when you move up the vibrational scale, you can't help but be a vibrational match to the experiences that correspond with this vibration, with the heart chakra vibration, with the throat chakra vibration, these higher level vibrations, right? So moving up into, let's say, like the 600. And like I said, 1,000 is the top. Jesus Christ, Buddha, they were 1,000. So I'm not going to call myself 1,000 quite yet. But moving up past 200, right? And so your life starts to, like, literally things in your life start to fall away that are not in alignment with the 600 vibration, with the throat chakra vibration. I hope that's making sense for you guys so far. I'm going to tune in. I'm just going to see who's on. Hi, Christy. Hi, Carrie. Christy says, just tuned in and oh my gosh, I just taught about this. Survival chakras, same sort of thing today. Very cool. Love when people are on the same page. Hi, Giselle. Hi, Shannon. All right. Okay, and my phone is falling. I knew this was asking for trouble. I'm just going to take it and hold it. Okay, so that's the deal. So if you want to operate, or rather, if you want to, let me put it this way. A lot of people think that if I want to have, no, let me put it this way. If I want to be a successful entrepreneur, or like a really on purpose, happy, peaceful, abundant woman, if I want to be that, then first I need to have money. First I need to have resources. First I need to have skills. So they think that first they need to have it, and then they can be that person, and then they can like do the things that that person would do. Or they need to have the resources, and then they can do the stages or the coaching program or the traveling, and then they'll be that person. But really it's the other way around. And this vibrational scale, I mean, it's been scientifically proven. It's the other way around. You have to be that vibration first, which means that sometimes you're going to feel fear, and it's going to feel very real, and it's going to be like it doesn't feel like an illusion. It is an illusion, but it doesn't feel like an illusion, because you're going to be in a moment where you need to choose. Like, do I keep feeling this fear and vibrating at a 20 and stay in the realm of the survival level chakras? Or am I going to make a choice to change my thought process, change my body alignment, and do the work to vibrate at a higher level, to work on my chakras, to move my way up to 200, 300, 600, and beyond? Because that's where the different experiences come in. So first you need to be at a higher vibration. The higher vibration doesn't come from having the resources first. It comes from being committed, being rigorous, being visionary, being, I don't want to use the word hopeful, but being more leaned in with hope than you are with fear, if that makes sense. Because if you are committed to like recycling those thoughts of fear, then what you're actually committing to is staying in that survival mode in terms of the vibration and the chakras. And you're just going to generate more of that, because the experiences that align with the vibration of 100 are just going to keep coming, because that's what you're a vibrational match to. So you got to change what you're a vibrational match to. Change which chakras, so in other words, work on your chakras to change your internal alignment, moving your way up to the selfless, giving, generous heart chakra at the vibration of like 500, let's say. Maybe it's not even that much. Maybe it's closer to 400. And what happens is your external environment changes to align and match that vibration. Instead of have, do, be, which is what a lot of people operate out of, it's be the vibration, and then you take the action, you do, and then you get the thing, and then you have. Be, do, have. Christy says, sounds so easy. but can be so daunting. That's why we need a coach. Exactly, Christy. And you are a very coachable client. It's so true. And that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes the fear feels very real. It feels very enrolling. Like, it feels like, no, but you don't understand. Like, this is my circumstance. This is my environment. Like, there's nothing I can do to change it. And what's so important to recognize is, but what are the thoughts you're thinking on a regular basis? What are you programming into your reality? What are you programming into your body, into the vibration of your body? Because not only is it going to cause breakdown in your body, but it's also going to cause breakdown in your life. I mean, at the time, it's so funny because when I was experiencing all that knee pain, I was actually financially fine. But I was in so much fear that I was generating from the inside that I was experiencing scarcity. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that so weird how that works? Duke, lay down. He's like destroying the couch right now. Duke, off. We might need to go for a little walk. Duke, come on. You guys, he ended up at this woman's house. It's a long story. Maybe I'll share it with you. But look at this. She put a little bow around his neck. She put this bow around him. Doesn't he look handsome? Hearts and likes. If you look how guilty he looks though. He's like, I know. I've been stomping on the couch. Are you gonna lay down or what? Are you gonna lay down or what? Time to lay down. Okay, no, off. You're destroying the couch. Okay. So no, come on, off. Let's go. Off. Let's go. This is the time of night when he gets a little crazy. That's what's happening right now. He's getting really antsy for mom's attention. Elisa says, how can we do this without making ourselves wrong about feelings and thoughts? It's a really good question. How can we do this without making ourselves wrong about our feelings and thoughts? So that's a really good question. And I used to go into self-beat up when I was starting to like figure this stuff out. So I would actually go into self-beat up. I would make myself wrong when I would catch myself in a vibrational thought process or pattern that like I realized intellectually that it wasn't where I wanted to be. But I still was like, rather than just going and fixing it, I would beat myself up and make myself wrong. And I can say that with that perspective now because what I've learned is that it's so insidious and so deceptive. But that self-beat up, the making yourself wrong, is it's actually the vibration of victim. And if you're committed to being at like the highest level of vibration, what that corresponds with is the highest level of responsibility. The highest level of responsibility translates in real life. What that actually means is I am responsible for everything. I am 100% responsible for everything, 100% of the time. And for a lot of people, that's really challenging because it's like, wait a minute, you're telling me I'm responsible for generating my knee pain, for generating cancer in my body, for generating the fires in Malibu, like the people who are evacuating, like, yeah, their soul actually sourced the experience of having to evacuate their homes. And I'm not saying I know why, and I'm not saying that like it's good or bad or they're good or bad. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying if you're operating from the highest vibration, from the highest level of manifesting power, from the highest level on this vibrational scale at 1,000, then you need to be operating out of I am 100% responsible for everything, as opposed to victim, which is things are happening to me. So when you're in the mindset of making yourself wrong for an experience or a thought process, what's actually happening is you're operating out of victim. Now, when I learned this was such a mind-blowing realization and learning for me, because I thought that by like giving myself criticism and feedback about my thought processes that weren't working, I was being coachable to myself. I was being transformed. I was being visionary. But here's the truth. I tell my clients this all the time. The goal is to be high vibe. Okay? The goal is to be high vibe. So if you're feeling anything but high vibe, then it's not working. So self beat up is not high vibe. Self beat up is low vibe. Self beat up lowers your vibration to shame and guilt. Back down to 20. I'll show you. Back down to 20, right? So that doesn't work if you're wanting to be a high level powerhouse manifester. So you got to let that go. Elisa, we must let that go. So that's where we tap into compassion, which moves us up the vibrational scale. We move into patience. We move into forgiveness. That moves us up the vibrational scale. And so I would avoid wrong making of yourself and other people at all costs. I got to tell you guys, I love to be right. And I know a lot of people who love to be right. And it was costing me a lot for a long time. It was costing me my relationship. It was costing me my health. It was costing me even like business success for a long time, or like I would be inconsistent or whatever. And when I finally became willing, and I've talked about this before, I actually talked about it on my last Dharma Talk Tuesday, one of the ways to shift your energy set point is to be willing to be wrong. And so when you're willing to be wrong, it allows you to actually make a shift. So that's one of the reasons why it's one of the 3 keys to shift your energy set point. So I use the right and wrong language because it resonates with people, but at the end of the day, right and wrong is still pretty low vibe. And what you want to get to is a point of just understanding compassion and forgiveness, recognizing sameness, oneness, which is really high level and very much just words until you really get it on a cellular basis. But which is why I don't talk about it that way, because it doesn't land for most people. But really, whether it's with yourself, Elisa, or with other people, and those of you that are watching that are resonating, thank you for the hearts and likes, that this is resonating and landing for you. It really isn't about right or wrong. That's right. Let's have flaws together. It's about, okay, so what am I committed to next? What's my vision? What's the woman that I want to be? What's the leader that I want to be? What's the Dharma queen, the manifesting queen that I want to be? And how does she show up? How does she connect with people? How does she treat herself? How does she treat others? How does she think? What are her thought processes? And what is the way that she deals with negative thoughts? And it's like, well, she's compassionate, she's patient, she's gentle, she's forgiving, she's loving, this kind of thing. So Elisa, I hope that answers your questions, hearts and likes if that answered your question. And I'm happy to answer other questions, whether on this live broadcast or on the replay. If you would like to comment them and post them below, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, one final glance at our vibrational scale happening right here. Isn't it amazing? It was established by Dr. David Hawkins, who established these metrics and did the math and the science on this. And I just think it's amazing. You know, it's empowering to see, like, on a visual basis, like, oh, that's why I manifested the breakdown, because I'm at this vibrational scale. So yeah, I hope that helps. The goal is to shift your way up and out of the survival chakras and up into the heart, into the self-expressive throat chakra, to be overflowing, to give from your saucer, not your cup. That was something I learned from this weekend from a women's conference I went to. What that means is that your cup is so overflowing that you're not giving from your cup, you're giving from your saucer. And that happens not from having something first and then doing something. It comes from being that person first, and then that's what generates it from a vibrational, deep, internal level. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for the hearts and likes and the love. If you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, do share this post. I really believe that if we lived in a world of people who were committed to taking on their interpersonal development, like every time one person shifts up another frequency of another, another 100 points, it actually affects hundreds of other people, because we're all contributing to the world's vibration. So as you shift up this vibrational scale, you're actually being a positive, significant contribution to what's manifesting in the world right now. I just saw an article about rhinoceros having their horns like sawed off while they're still alive. I mean, the fact that those horns are being taken anyway, I think is repulsive. But like the ivory trade is just disgusting. But like this rhino walked around for a week with its infection festering on its face and like flies flying. Like, and that shit is very low vibe. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. And you, even in America or even in Europe, like you can help the rhinos in Africa with this. If you can commit to raising your vibration and doing your internal work and being higher vibe, not only are you going to change the experience in your life, not only will you manifest more money and love and all of the things that you want, but you're going to help the rhinos in Africa. You're going to help the poachers like have a change of heart. Like this stuff is real. The ripple effect of the vibration and all of us being one and being connected is so real. So thank you, those of you that are committed to doing this work. I know many of you are, who I see on the live right now. A couple things before we hop off. If you need some support shifting your vibration, I call it your energy set point. So oftentimes we end up at an energy set point, whether it's like 100 or 200, we end up at an energy set point and we just keep manifesting the same thing out of that vibration over and over and over again. And if you find yourself there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link on this Facebook Live to get on the phone with me for 20 minutes, because I can often shift you. I'm like a pretty powerful intuitive and energy worker, and also am very good with strategy. So I teach a combination of 3 things, which we'll talk about on the phone, that'll actually shift your energy set point and pop you up into a new vibration so you can be a contribution not only to your own life, but to the world. So I'm going to post the link here for that link. And then also, I'm so excited. A bunch of you are already coming to this. I see so many of you on, but I'm hosting Dharma Live here in December in the winter. It's a winter solstice renewal, which, gosh, the winter solstice around that time is an incredibly potent and powerful time of year, you guys. I mean, there's a reason. I'm just like, I always say this, I'm Jewish, but like, I'm such a, like, I read the Bhagavad Gita. I'm like so deeply connected to all the scriptures. Like there's a reason why Christmas falls near the summer solstice. Like there's a reason why Jesus Christ was said to be born around that time. Such a powerful time of renewal. And so to put yourself in the environment of a sisterhood gathering where we're going to be actively doing a lot of this kind of work, tapping into the 3 pillars of manifestation that I'll be teaching, it's a really important and powerful thing for you to do for yourself. And like I said, many of you who are on right now, we're actually going to be there and you're going to be coming, and I can't wait to see you there. So I don't have the landing page yet, still working on it. But if you're interested in coming as my guest, what I want you to do is send me a private message and say, hey, I'd love to come to the retreat, to Dharma Live. And I'll hook you up with everything you need to know. It's December 15th and 16th, right before the solstice. And I would just love to have you there. If you have questions, it's here in San Diego. I'd be happy to answer them. Just send me a private message. I'll post the link for the energy set point session here. And that's it for today. So I hope this was supportive for all of you, talking about the 3 survival chakras. Like I said, if you know anyone who this could benefit, please hit the share button or tag them below. And I hope you have a beautiful, powerful rest of your day and rest of your week. Sending you so much love right now. Sparkles, flying at ya, flying at ya, flying at ya. Bye, everyone. Till next week.